You've reached Zackus and Hanker. If you meant to call Backus and Shanker, make sure to smash those twos. If you meant to call Zackus and Hanker, stay on the line for some entertainment and welcome in to Zackus and Shanker. Zackus and Hanker, presented and brought to you by the DNVR Broncos Podcast. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this fabulous Friday. Feels like a Friday, Hankus.
It does. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. I got that golf video game like 3 weeks ago, right when it came out.
Is it like a virtual one?
Yeah. No, it's sick. It's like the EA Sports one. You like play a career, all that stuff. And I'm terrible at it. Like it's terrible. Like I struggle to stay within break like 76 or so.
What's better, you on that game or you in real life? I guess if you're
still on the game.
I was gonna say if you're struggling to break 76, that sounds pretty good.
But then last night I got hot, and so like I was getting ready to go to bed, and I was like, okay, let's just give this one more run. Like I played like a whole tournament. In the first round, I'm like 4 over. And I was like, oh, this is so dumb. And the second one, I was 1 under. So I was like, oh, I'm only 3 over. And then I just went on a tear.
Wow.
And so then I was like, okay, now I got to like start this next tournament while I'm still hot. And I'm 15 under through 2 rounds.
Wow.
I've got like a 5-shot lead. And this has never happened before.
So you're about to make millions.
Well, virtual millions. I'm going to be able to buy like a Puma hat or something.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. But
maybe some virtual pins and aces?
I think they might have that.
Ooh.
They might have that. I need to check. But yeah, the problem is I was going to play like 2 rounds and then I slowly got better. And so now I'm tired. But then I got outside and I was like, okay, this is actually nice. I need to pick it up.
Yeah, you saw the sun and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. And actually, that's where Ryan is today. He's playing not virtual golf. He's playing real golf at our Scramble de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo. Wow, we got back-to-back days of kind of holidays. Yesterday, May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
For the Star Wars fans, that's more of a Star Wars holiday. Today, I think, is more of an everyone holiday. Cinco de Mayo. Boy, I didn't even think about that. Why aren't we drinking?
I don't know. I realized halfway over here. I was like, wait, it's Cinco de Mayo. But then my girlfriend's sick. And so she was going to play in the golf tournament.
So she's not playing.
Yeah, exactly. And so then like there was the Nuggets game tonight. And now I'm just like, well, what am I doing for Cinco de Mayo and the Nuggets? Like I don't know. Those are problems for later.
Do you guys know what Cinco de Mayo is for, by the way?
Tell me, you hear?
It's
the dead?
No, it's not about the dead. It's not about the dead.
Okay.
People did die though because it was a battle.
Oh, geez.
And somebody won their independence, and it was just this one. No, they won a very important battle.
Shaking his head.
It's just like this one little. I think they call them states. There are they states in Mexico?
There are states, I believe so.
La Batalla de Puebla, where
of course,
Puebla,
it's right on the tip of your tongue, Hank.
Puebla beat the French, but this war was all started because of a cake.
Of a cake?
Oh.
A cake.
Like a real cake?
Like a real cake.
Was there a bomb in it?
No.
Was it ice cream cake?
I think it was
Ooh,
either.
I love ice
I don't
cream
remember
cake.
how.
It's the
That's
Wow.
why it's called in Spanish La Guerra de Pasteles.
What does that mean?
The War of Cakes.
Wow.
Because it all started over a cake.
Wow. So then this was like the independence or the winning?
Nope. It just was a battle. Mexico's independence, September 16th.
So we're just celebrating a Mexican battle?
Yep.
I don't
today?
even think like the Mexicans really
Mexicans in Mexico, it's not even a holiday.
care. Yeah.
Wow.
We really turned it into something cool. I wonder, do
Americans
people in Ireland like St. Patrick's Day?
That is a good question. I don't know.
Or did we do the same thing there?
Right,
Which
right.
honestly, like, I'm kind of cool with.
And then we turn it into Cinco de Drinko.
Exactly.
Is what a lot of people nickname it. Wow.
I know.
Are we innovative or disgusting?
A little bit of both.
I mean, I'm hyped about it.
little bit
I
of
was
both.
hyped. Now I don't have any
I was
plans.
going to say, it doesn't sound like you're too hype anymore.
I was super hyped before. Damn
honestly,
it.
no, and honestly, like any Mexican that lives here does not really care if you celebrate or not.
Wow.
Or if you confuse it with their Independence Day. It's
Well,
just
because
like,
they
whatever,
probably
like,
eat Mexican food pretty consistently.
yeah, dude, it's our culture. Like,
Exactly.
literally, we have this on a daily basis.
Probably don't need like, hey, I haven't had a burrito in like a month. What a time for this. You know?
Here, do you have an extra marg today?
No, I actually don't drink anymore.
Oh, well, then yeah, you definitely wouldn't be having a marg.
I know. I live right next door to this Mexican restaurant. Like literally like right next door. And it's really good. But I also feel like if I go in there today, it's just going to be packed. And I don't want to
It
just
will be
go have
packed.
like two sad margaritas sitting there alone. Yeah, it might be a
today
rough
doesn't
one.
feel like a sad margarita day.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Free plug. If you guys want, I've said it before on the pod. If you guys want great Mexican food and great Mexican drinks, Wings and Burgers. Super deceiving name, but
Yes.
it's all Mexican food. You know it's bad because it's again they give you like little al pastor, so you can cut it up
Ooh.
yourself. They give you like a
man.
whole Paton bottle full of margarita.
Wow.
Like it is an amazing place to go eat.
Wait, do they also sell wings and burgers?
They do.
They do.
But
Okay.
The thing is, they sell it Mexican style. They don't sell it, which it is different.
So what are Mexican wings?
Just the different sauces.
Okay,
It's a lot more variety, I guess.
Oh, man. Would you be celebrating Cinco de Mayo by getting burgers and wings?
If they're Mexican burgers and
Yeah,
wings.
I guess. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What a way to start this pod, man. Yeah. Sad margarita Hank. The chat's popping off about this. Maybe we just need to talk about Cinco de Mayo instead and delicious margaritas. Shout out Illegal Pete's
Cinco
Yes.
for
de Mayo.
delicious. Cinco de Mayo. That would,
Ooh.
if the Broncos had drafted Will Levis, we would be talking
Wow,
about Cinco
we really
de
would.
Mayo in our coffee this morning. Thankfully, did not start my morning with coffee with mayonnaise in my coffee, but I did start off my day thinking about JL Skinner, Henry,
Yes.
and just what type of player is he? And Hank, I think I'm going to need you to be Hank Debbie Downer today because I'm so high on JL Skinner. And we're talking about a 6th round pick today, JL Skinner out of Boise State. And man, when I watch him, when I read experts talk about him, and again, just when I watch him, I'm like, man, this does not feel like a 6th round pick to me.
Yeah. I mean, he should not have been a 6th round pick.
No, Henry, you're supposed to be a downer.
I mean, according to everybody, I've been a downer for all these. Where it's just like I thought we were kind of hyping these guys up. Even yesterday in the Madden chat, it's like, wow, the pod really killing the Riley Moss vibe. It's like, wait, what? So he's really good in zone coverage. He can run the side. I don't know.
To be fair, I think there are a couple of Iowa people in that chat, and including our guy Spencer, who works here, and Iowa people just think anyone that comes out of Iowa is a god.
Yeah.
So the fact that we weren't praising him, the fact that we didn't make yesterday, a holiday for Riley Moss is probably disappointing for them.
Yeah, I know. It's like not all these guys are going to be Pro Bowlers. It's just the truth.
Well, they could be.
I guess they could be.
Yeah, so
they
you're
could
being
be.
a
Any of
downer
them
about
definitely
that.
could be. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I usually take the approach of like, why are these guys not the first overall pick? Like you all know like what a good safety is, but then you say like, oh yeah, Drew Sanders, he's not polished, or like he could add just a little bit up top, like we could use a little more shoulder, and so you kind of work your way down. So with JL Skinner, we might as well just start by saying like, he's awesome. He hits really hard.
There we go.
But I mean, people have already watched the highlights. They know
Right.
they know all those.
Yep,
But yeah, so
yep,
he hits
yep.
really hard. He has those long arms, and that makes it really easy for him to tackle. So even when he's not getting like a great hit, he's wrapping guys up. Obviously, the size stands out. And the size combined with the length means that he has a lot of margin for error in coverage. You
point.
don't see him deep as often, but he plays a lot in the box, and that's where, when you can stand like this and take up that much space, it doesn't matter if maybe you're lacking just a little bit of quickness, because that'll make up for some of the edges there that you might be missing out on.
In tackling and coverage.
Definitely. So that's what he's really good at. He's great in the box. He can flow with the run. He can hit guys. He can wrap them up. He's also just a playmaker. It does seem like maybe it's just because his body's so weird, but every time he makes, it's true though. Like, look, he's built like an alien.
Yeah,
But like when he picks off a pass or something, it always looks like almost kind of like awkward. But then you look at him, and you're just like, wow, he's so sick. Like, look at how big this guy is, and he's out here making those plays.
Yeah, 6'4", 209 at the combine. Of
Yep.
course, Boise State said he was 220, but closer to 210. But Henry, this is a guy where he gets in an NFL program, he could absolutely be 220. Let's compare that to Kareem Jackson, who's a hard-hitting safety, much like JL Skinner. Their games aren't identical, but Kareem Jackson is a hard-hitting safety in the NFL. He's 5'11", 185.
Yep.
JL Skinner, come this fall, could easily be 6'4", 220 pounds. Think about what those hard hits could feel like if Kareem Jackson can lay the wood. And like you said, when you pull up JL Skinner highlights or you see a clip on Twitter, it's of JL Skinner just decking someone on that blue field. He's wearing that blue jersey, and he is just taking someone out. And so when you originally see JL and hear about him, you're like, okay, Kareem Jackson 2.0? Not exactly. He brings more to his game than just being a hard hitter, which, again, just makes me think, like, why did he fall to the 6th round? Because when you initially see it, a 6th-round pick, you're like, okay, this guy's just going to destroy people on the field, and he's probably pretty bad in coverage. That's why he would fall to the 6th round. I was actually really impressed. Now, is he perfect in coverage? Of course not. That's why he wasn't the number 1 overall pick or the number 1 safety taken or the number or 1st-round pick. But I was impressed with his coverage skills, and you've mentioned it already, a box safety. He lines up more in the box and honestly in the slot than he does as a deep safety, really. And so I think that's where the Broncos can really, really, really utilize him. But I was actually surprised just with how much he was in the slot in coverage as opposed to just being a true box safety.
Yeah, I mean, that length really shows up. And I think in coverage, he's at his best when he's getting out to the flats, when he's in those kind of flat zones, working 100%. From inside out. Because where he really gets stuck in coverage, it's just like the fluidity of the hips, that sort of stuff. When he has to, like if he's in man coverage over a tight end and the tight end breaks in front of him, the tight end is going to get a step on him on the break. But with those long legs, he's generally going to be able to catch up. He's not going to catch up against everybody. Like that's unreasonable. But that's where I think you have a concern is just when it comes time to change direction and get going quickly. Because it's weird because sometimes you watch him and you think like, wow, he has great burst. Like especially when he's playing in his zone coverage, the ball gets thrown and bang, he's coming downhill. But it does also feel like other times he doesn't get started quite as quickly as you'd like. And I almost think that's just whether his hips are, if his hips are already pointed one direction, he can go that direction. Just the time it takes to get them turned even a little bit and go, it's just notable. Like that's where there's going to be some separation. But that's where also if you're playing him in those flat zones, saying you're in the slot, maybe it's like a cover 3, so that corner's dropping all the way back up the sideline, and he can kind of know, okay, here's my spot. I'm about to go this way. I'm about to go this way, and kind of time it up. That's when I think he really shows up. Again, not bad in coverage. And again, with that length, you love to see that. And the fluidity, that sort of stuff can still come because you're coming from Boise State. Like that's a G5 program. The difference between like Boise State's strength and conditioning staff and CU's strength and conditioning staff is big. And then you go from CU.
Maybe
CU
different.
Okay, but then you go from like
maybe
CU
now,
to Bama.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's another tier up. And so then you go from Bama to the NFL, and there's another. So the difference in the way that they are going to train his body, it's just going to be massive. And I think that they can get some of that out of him because if all of a sudden he's really sticky, then like that's game over. Then you've got like a potential Pro Bowl safety.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the reasons why you see him playing in the box so much and in the slot is because he is good in coverage, but when things are going deep and he has to track a ball or try to catch up to a play in terms of if he takes that kind of free safety spot, balls can get over his head. It just reminds me of what we've talked about with Riley Moss, Andrew Sanders. When the play's in front of him, he's really good. When he has to turn around and kind of talking about those hips that you were talking about, when he has to open his hips and run, that's just when he gets a little in trouble in coverage. And there are some people that think that he can be a free safety, a strong safety, a box safety, and that's just going to be on the Broncos to find out where they think is best. But I think Boise State kind of pointed it out by saying, okay, yes, he's good in coverage. I think he's a really good coverage strong safety. I don't think you want him as a free safety. The Broncos don't need him as a free safety because they have Justin Simmons back there. So let Justin kind of deal with those responsibilities, making sure plays don't get over the top of him. Because as a safety, you're called a safety because you're the last line of defense there. And I would say that's just an area that JL needs to work on. But, man, I'm just so impressed with his game. Now, when we're watching them play teams in the Mountain West.
That's
No
true.
disrespect to CSU and the rest of the Mountain West. Like you said, kind of. There's a jump up to the Pac-12. Then there's a jump up to the SEC.
Yep.
He's not taking those jumps. He's taken the jump to
Exactly.
the NFL, and that's probably another reason. Now, you can have first-round picks that come from the Mountain West. You can. But especially when he wasn't able to participate at the Combine and show just how much of an athletic freak he is. And honestly, I don't know how much of an athletic freak he is. We didn't see any numbers, and it's kind of hard to translate those from playing in the Mountain West to the NFL without seeing those numbers. That probably scared teams off and said, man, is he just dominating because he's playing Mountain West, or does he actually have the physical tools needed for the NFL? Everything on film shows that he can play in the NFL, but that is probably another reason why he fell is, okay, this guy's going to be taking a huge leap, and that's why for this year, my expectations for right now are a little limited.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, in the run game, I think he's ready to go. Like, he can... Just like working on the hands, technique, getting off blocks could help. There's I think I sent that clip to you and RK of like the slot receiver from Oregon State.
Yep. Trying to block him.
I know. And the guy, he can't be more than like 160 pounds. And it's just hilarious. He looks like he's half his size. And that sort of stuff happens often with JL Skinner because that's just a really big dude.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of the time, especially in the Mountain West, you can kind of get away with. He doesn't have to be technically sound. He's just a different caliber of athlete than the people around him. And so a lot of this other stuff might come in time. That's where in the box, he's going to be good to go. You want to work on the technical shedding stuff because it's different when you're trying to get off of Ben Powers than these guys. But then the passing game, he's a playmaker. Again, he was offensive star in high school. Like they played him at receiver. They'd give him just like a bubble screen. Exactly. And he'd just break like 3 tackles and run 75 yards for a touchdown. They put him at the Wildcat quarterback, short yardage. They give him the ball. Like there's 75-yard touchdowns there too. So you see all that talent. It's just figuring out how to maximize it and where he stands now. But yeah, I mean, super exciting player. Makes a lot of plays. Same, a lot like Riley Moss in that way.
Yeah, and
Drew Sanders too.
Yeah, you say playmaker. 7 interceptions in his collegiate career at Boise State. 4 as a junior, and that junior year was just insane for JL Skinner. Not only 4 interceptions, but he also had 7 tackles for a loss, 3 fumble recoveries, 2 forced fumbles. This guy was always around the ball. So you talk about a playmaker, that's exactly what he is. And again, typically you see interceptions come from free safeties where they're just roaming, picking off floating balls 20, 30 yards deep down the field. No, he's doing this from closer in. And so he really is a playmaker. And Riley Moss, playmaker as well. Drew Sanders, playmaker as well. Marvin Mims averages 20 yards per catch in his career at Oklahoma, playmaker. Sean Payton apparently has a type. We're going to talk about the Broncos' final pick. I was going to say, maybe that's not a playmaker, but that's not his fault, being the center, being a center, probably the least playmaker spot.
Wow. I mean,
I would think so.
I guess they have the fumble-rooski. I'm not sure if there's anything. I guess guards at least pull, and that's more reasonable. I guess it has to be.
Wow. Okay, so we're talking about all of these things that JL is. Why did he fall? Let's jump into that. But first, got to tell you about our friends over at Fubo TV. Henry, if you want to watch film on these guys, you could have recorded all of Boise State's games, all of Arkansas's games with Fubo TV, because they have over 1,000 hours of cloud DVR to record on top of 140 live channels. I started my morning with a little Fubo TV, watched some basketball last night with a little Fubo TV over on ESPN. Fubo TV has got it all. It is the future of TV, and you're seeing these new packages come out. The great thing about Fubo is it's been around, but it also incorporates all of the new aspects. So it's a best blend of both worlds. And if you use the promo code, or if you go to FuboTV.com/DNVR, you're going to get 15% off. And the great thing about it is they're going to give you a 7-day free trial to start off. And then there's no contract, no cable, no hassles. You just sign up and then you start watching right away. So there's no downside. Go to FuboTV.com/DNVR to get that 7-day free trial. You're going to like it. When you do, then you're going to get 15% off. Scan that QR code on our screen or go to FuboTV.com/DNVR.
And if something horrible happens to you, I just realized I didn't think of anything. Oh, if any of our listeners are out in the golf tournament today,
Oh, geez.
and they're like tuned in, like just know that, I don't know, if RK's teeing off, you know, he's one who like he hits the ball really far, but also kind of to the left.
And
if
you're not standing on the right,
Exactly. So maybe that
Jeez.
one just boink right off the head.
Oh,
And then you wake up later and you're like, oh no, what happened?
and then a bus hits you because you're laying down.
Yeah, probably get run over by a golf cart.
Oh, yeah.
Or if the
Justin
French
Simmons
wanted-
and Russell Wilson run over you.
Yeah.
Or if the
If you're in a
French
bunker.
are mad about a cake and they hurt you.
Oh yeah, if the
Oh,
French are
there
after you,
we
yeah.
go.
Yeah. You get hit with the cake.
So if any of those things happen to you while you're on the golf course today, make sure you call 222-2222 and Backus and Shanker will help you get money from the people who hurt you. They've been helping people who are seriously injured in Colorado for more than 25 years. They don't charge any money until they win your case. So you can go in there, go talk to them. They'll tell you if you have a case, and they won't charge you any upfront fees. It all just at the end, if you win, they get a cut. They've won over $1 billion for their clients, and they have offices all over the state with more than 30 lawyers on their staff. So car accidents, rideshare things, pedestrians, you get hit by a truck, call 222-2222 to find out if you have a case for free. Backus and Shanker wins.
Henry, you know what Backus and Shanker stands for?
The names of the people who started
Exactly,
it?
yeah.
Okay,
It's their last names. You know what JL stands for in JL Skinner?
I do.
What?
Nothing.
Wait, JL stands for nothing?
Yeah. Well, wait. No, it does not stand for anything.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
You're right.
Yeah, there
It
we go.
doesn't stand for anything. And it's just so fascinating. His grandfather was JL.
Mm-hmm.
His father was JL. JL, we didn't like grill him on it right after he was drafted, but I'm not quite sure he knows where the origin comes from, although it's just a family name now. But it was really funny when he was asked about it. He said, "Yep, just JL, doesn't stand for anything. It doesn't stand for Jaquarius Lynx or anything like that." So not
That was what I
Jaquarius
had
Lynx,
assumed. Yeah,
right? Of
Jaquarius
course.
Lynx.
Oh, yeah, of course. The classic JL. So JL doesn't stand for anything. And another really, really cool thing about the new Bronco, former Bronco, because he was a Boise State Bronco,
True.
and now, excuse me, and now a Denver Bronco. Thank you. You hear? Agent Zero. We don't officially know what number he's going to wear with the Broncos because we'll find that out in probably around a week when rookie minicamp starts in a week. But the number 0 is now allowed in the NFL, and JL wore number 0 at Boise State. Are you in for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. The only thing that makes me wonder about it is just like, does Sean Payton believe that no rookie should have like a cool number or something? Like, and I don't think he cares about numbers.
I wouldn't either, but Sean
seems to be
Payton
caring a lot.
Sean Payton has some quirks.
He does. I don't know. I think
Wait, but so do you think 0 is a cool number? Because I feel like when we talked about this, I think Ryan didn't think it was a cool number.
I mean, he'll just do whatever Dion tells him to say. Like, it's
It's very true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Dion said that 0 isn't
Exactly.
a number. Okay,
Exactly.
You're right. Yep.
if you asked him a week before Dion said that, you would have said, yeah, it's awesome.
Good point. I forgot about that.
I can get behind it. You know, I'm just like slowly warming up.
Yeah, I feel like you weren't about it.
Well,
when we
I
had
don't
this
like
conversation a month
the
ago.
I don't like that they let the people wear single digit numbers, and I don't like that the kickers get to wear all these. Oh, kicker's number 80 now. Yeah, shut up. That's so freaking dumb. The numbers have been this. There's a 60-year history of the NFL players wearing these specific numbers, and now we're just throwing out the window.
man, Hank.
Wow,
You're
you're
an
like,
old man.
The history books say it should be this way. Now it's going to be this way.
History,
I mean-
Hank, man.
That's. I didn't see a need to change anything.
Wow.
I always thought the college numbers were dumb, but again, that's because I only watched the NFL. You know, so
yeah.
This is the land of the free. You can wear whatever number you want.
that's not anything to do with anything. Okay, but yeah, I mean, more and more, it's just like, okay, embrace it, enjoy the silly numbers. And so, like, wear 0. He wore it in college. Sure, why not?
Yeah, I would absolutely love this, especially because no vet has switched to number 0. And if a vet were to, and they were a prominent vet who has jerseys out there, they would have to pay for that number change right now. So maybe that's a reason. But then no new Broncos are wearing number 0. We found out their numbers. Mike McGlinchey wearing number 69.
Yep.
Nice.
Makes sense.
Thought you were going to help me out there.
Oh, nice. Yep. Very nice.
In honor of Cinco de Mayo, or no, not Cinco de Mayo. May the 4th be with you. Jarrett Stidham is wearing number 4.
I thought you were saying the 69 was in honor of something.
No. I don't think we'll know. Number 5 is already Randy Gregory, but no new player chose number 0, so that's up for grabs for JL Skinner. But we can get back to the football side of JL Skinner. But really quick before we do, the chat's popping off. It's been really fun. A lot of people saying, don't you dare put JL Skinner on Travis Kelce to cover him. Who's saying that? Yeah, I completely agree. Don't put JL.
In chat.
Oh, someone in the chat. Not this year. Don't put JL Skinner on Travis Kelce. I mean, if you want to go one-on-one, you go with one of the best cover players in the NFL, and you go Pat Surtain, but they haven't really done that
or even
yet.
Justin Simmons.
Yeah, but you're not going JL Skinner. Maybe he can develop into that. I mean, if he develops into a Travis Kelce guy, then you hit it out of the park.
Yeah. Also, how much longer is Travis Kelce even playing? Like, is this a 1-year problem at this point?
I don't know, man. Until he isn't getting 1,000 yards.
True.
It's hard to be like, yeah, he's on his last leg.
Yeah, and I guess
don't
he's
worry,
only
I'll say
33.
that, so you don't have to say it, Hank.
Thought he was older than 33. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, he doesn't build his game around speed or anything.
No.
It's just this stupid understanding he has of zones and getting open and being on the same page as Patrick Mahomes. Anyways, enough about Travis Kelce. But one more thing really quick. Chat's popping off. Only a couple of likes on the YouTube, though. Hit us with a thumbs up when you're over there. Really helps us out, especially for some reason Fridays are down days for our show, and I feel like today's got one of the best vibes of the week right now, but just not a lot of people tune in. A lot of people on the golf course, probably taking today off to drink margaritas, so not as many people tune in, so those thumbs up help us extra. And the 5-star reviews on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts really helps us as well. I guess it's not iTunes, it's Apple Music, which it would be Apple Podcasts for this, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Hit us with 5-star reviews, subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to podcasts. We really appreciate all of you. Okay, Henry, why did JL Skinner drop to the 6th round?
So the torn pec probably cost him around.
So tell us about that.
So tore his pec a couple days before the combine. He says
warming up for bench press.
Exactly. He says that he should be good to go in about a month, and he said that a few days ago. So I guess in less than a month he should be ready to go.
Yeah.
So that's good news.
Which honestly should just mean by training camp.
Yeah.
And now, of course, anytime we're talking about an off-season injury, you put a little asterisk next to it, next to the should. But should be.
But then I think that more than the injury itself, it was the fact that he couldn't run at the combine, because his 40 time really could have been anywhere. Like I that concerns me a little bit, because you see him once he gets going, he just has those long legs, and so he's not like slow once he gets going, but he isn't like notably fast. The burst isn't really there. So that is a 40 time that really could have been catching in the wrong way. And I think more than that, it's the 3 cone where he really would struggle just with all the twists. So I think that teams probably assumed that what they saw on tape was going to translate to the testing, which is a fair assumption to make.
Right.
And so he didn't really have a chance to say, actually, no, look, we're working with this, and that would have bumped him up a little bit.
And on top of that, kind of like we talked about in the first segment, where if he was playing this way in the SEC on Alabama or going against Alabama, something like that, then teams probably wouldn't be as concerned, because he'd be going against future NFL players. He's been playing primarily against future accountants, and so they're probably a little more concerned about what that would translate to.
Definitely. And I do think, I think the downside with JL Skinner is that 2 years from now, he's out on the field, and you look at him and say, like, you're just big. Like, what do you do here? Like, you're just big, like you don't actually like cover guys. You seem to be out of position sometimes. Like there's the occasional big hit, but like it's just not enough. And so I think that when you fall in love with JL Skinner, it's that size and the length and the way he uses it to make plays. And again, if those margins are so slim on those plays that if they aren't coming for him in the NFL, then that's the downside. And again, he's a 6th round pick. Like if that happens, it happens. But I do think that that's kind of the concern. And that could be another reason why he falls to the 6th round.
Yeah, and as Dylan says he went to Boise as well, and he said Boise's been doo-doo for years. Mm-hmm. So I guess doo-doo, not many players get drafted when they go to doo-doo state.
That is true, doo-doo state.
Another thing, and Henry, you brought this up when we were talking about the strong safety free agent market. Mm-hmm. Strong safeties aren't as valuable.
Yep.
As free safeties anymore. We clearly see that in the free agent market. We see it when players get new contracts. They're not paid nearly as much, and that affects draft status as well. He is a strong safety. Some people believe he can be more of an all-around safety. I just don't think teams are convinced that he can truly be a free safety. So he's pegged as not just a strong safety, but maybe even more so just a box safety. So some teams may think that he's a little limited in what he can do, and then so that drops him down. But Henry, a lot of people thought that his talent was a day 2 pick.
Definitely.
I even saw some people seeing 2nd and 3rd. Lance Zierlein said he was a 3rd or 4th round guy. Broncos got him in the 6th. We talk about how sometimes the NFL overthinks things, whether it's on the coaching side, whether it's in the evaluation side. If they really dropped him from a 3rd to 4th round pick to the 6th round just because he wasn't able to test at the combine and had this torn pec, man, the Broncos could have got a diamond in the rough. They could have absolutely got a steal. But I want to ask you, let's pull up our grades, and let's give this a grade. Because I'm curious if this is going to be one of the highest grades you've given, or if you're just a little skeptical and need to see more.
I mean, I'll give it an A+.
Whoa!
I love it. No, I would have been happy if they would have taken him in the 3rd.
Wow.
Like, he was on my list of guys. Like, I mean, if they traded up for him in the 2nd, I would have been hyped. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he was there in the 6th, like, that's insane.
Wait, so if he was their first pick in this draft, you would have liked it?
Yeah,
not
definitely.
It, but liked it?
Yeah, he was one of the guys who I was really excited about.
How about that? Okay, I thought I was going to be the highest of this pick of all of us. I'm going A.
All right.
If they would have got him, maybe not with their first pick, but if they would have got him in the 4th, this would have been an A. A-. I mean, maybe I should go A+ because I think it's a good 4th round pick. Yeah. You get him in the 6th round. And also, Henry, he's going to be a special teamer right away. So it's not like you're drafting this 6th round guy who's going to need time to develop, but he's not going to be able to play special teams. No, he's going to be able to do that. His potential for a 6th round pick is off the charts. I think his floor for a 6th round pick is still pretty darn high.
David Bruton.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I just absolutely love this pick. And Ryan, hater Ryan.
I know.
Went with a B-. There was no explanation. He was on the golf course and probably didn't have much time to explain that.
Nope.
We're going to have to press him on that one. He's going to look like the hater when we put this out
reckless
on Twitter.
Ryan.
Yeah, reckless Ryan with this one. I mean, maybe he just hasn't even watched JL Skinner tape. Who knows? Maybe he just hates the Mountain West because CSU's in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I love this pick. And the Broncos, we've given out some pretty damn good grades over these past 4 picks, talking about their first 4 picks. They've done a lot with a little so far. So I'm a big fan of this pick.
Definitely. And I think Cody said, like, the upside is Cam Chancellor. That's exactly right. Woo. Like, that's exactly what the upside is. You know, because even in high school, like, JL was going around saying, like, yeah, Cam Chancellor is my favorite player. Like, he's so sick, blah, blah, blah. Like, then in college, like, somebody else wrote a thing. It's like, yeah, I just watch Cam Chancellor all the time. And, like, before the draft, like, I think in January, somebody asked him again. It's like, is there anybody you try to mold your game after? Like, Cam Chancellor. It's like, you know that hit that he made on, I can't remember. It wasn't Kittle. Maybe I think it was Vernon Davis. It's like, yeah, I've watched that like 1,000 times. And then at the Senior Bowl, Jim Nagy did his like little press thing afterward and got asked about JL Skinner. Was like, yeah, I mean, that guy reminds me a bunch about Cam Chancellor. And then JL was like, oh, no way, this is so sick. Yeah, so I mean, that's exactly what you're hoping for.
And Cam Chancellor, a big player, a guy that could deliver the hits and do more.
5th round pick.
Man, so if you get 6th round of Cam Chancellor, it's pretty damn good. You're getting a Pro Bowler right there.
Exactly.
So, Henry, let's talk about what his role is this year what his role is next year and moving forward. What do you think for this year? I mean, if we're comparing him to Cam Chancellor, is there a chance he could have a big role this year?
I mean, there's a chance. There's definitely a chance. I think in a lot of ways it's going to be like JL Skinner and Drew Sanders and Riley Moss, where I don't know that they plan on giving those guys big roles, but I do think they plan on putting them on the field and giving them at least a couple opportunities to pop. And if they pop, then they're going to get big roles. And again, that approach is going to be very similar with JL. Special teams for sure. I think all three of these guys are going to be really important special teams players. Again, people forget or people don't care about special teams, but I'm pretty sure the Broncos lost 15 points in the special teams battle by the Football Outsiders metric. And then there was they lost more by randomness too, but another point per game for a team that only scores as many points per game as they have, that's a big number.
Yeah.
So yeah, special teams, absolutely. And from there, you look at his strengths and say, you like him in the box, so that means you're either playing him as like a dime linebacker, or maybe even a nickel linebacker, or you're playing him as like a slot corner. And so from there you say, well, slot corner, that means he needs to get in front of K1. Seems unlikely.
Right.
And even if it's not K1, then you also have Riley Moss there, and they might just want to go 3 corners. So that could be a pretty tough job to get. That sub linebacker job is another tough one where you got to pick 2 of those guys to be on the field. And now you've got Josie, you've got Alex, you've got, I think Jonas Griffith is in the conversation still just because he has traits that play up there. And then Drew Sanders and JL Skinner. And I think that seems more likely that he's going to get opportunities there to me than in the slot. But there are more guys competing, so he really will have to stand out. So I do think that that's probably where you see it, especially in dime packages. They bring him in, and if it works, then it grows from there. And the thing is, so in the last year's defense, the Fangio defense, the offense kind of decides which of those safeties rotates down based on their formation. So you have Justin Simmons and JL Skinner back there. Well, you want Justin Simmons deep and Skinner rotating down. If the tight end's on the other side, though, well, then you're stuck with Skinner going deep. So I do think that there's a chance that they can get him into that strong safety job this year because they changed that defense. And they can kind of use guys their strengths a little bit more now than they could in the past. But that seems unlikely.
Man, could you imagine in the box you have JL Skinner and Drew Sanders?
It'd be sick.
And
yeah.
JL can be that guy in the run game. Drew can be blitzing from the middle. And that's just one package you could have. Of course, Josie Jewell and Alex Singleton in there as well.
Yep.
I think this year, though, Caden Sterns has the lead over him.
Definitely.
If healthy, when healthy, they expect Caden Sterns to be healthy, but it was kind of a weird injury that Caden had last year. Curious where he's at and if there's any potential chance of a setback there. If so, though, if Caden misses some time, I'm touching wood for him, then JL's probably the next man up in that spot. You do still have PJ Locke, who's just shined anytime he's been given an opportunity. But if you want a bigger safety, that's certainly JL, PL, or PJ Locke is undersized. And right now, do the Broncos need to sign Kareem Jackson?
I would do it.
Would?
I would, yeah. I think because that doesn't mean you have to keep him for the season.
True.
You bring him in for training camp, and I would guess, usually with vets like that, they don't want to do OTAs and all that sort of stuff, and so the deal comes in a month after they can kind of get out of this stuff and rest the body up a little bit. But I do think that just from a safety perspective, Simmons on one side, then Sterns and Skinner and Locke on the other side, you're probably fine. But if this turns out to be a good defense and Sterns or Skinner, say Sterns has another injury, Skinner plays like a rookie coming out of the Mountain West, then all of a sudden you have a massive hole in a defense that otherwise is really good when you're trying to be successful. And so just having somebody who can plug that up and give you he was good last year. He was an above average strong safety last year. He wasn't what he was the year before, or the year before that, but he was still playing at a pretty high level. So I do think bringing Kareem back, at least for camp, and then if you get through camp and say, wow, JL Skinner looks awesome, Caden Sterns looks awesome, we don't need Kareem, then that totally makes sense. But I think for right now, I'm just a little nervous there. But I guess I'm a little bit nervous about cornerback too, when they're not bringing anybody there either.
And that's totally fair to be nervous. We're talking about a 6th-round rookie.
Exactly.
And so you can't count on him this year. But next year is when I think that he should be competing with Caden Sterns for that starting spot. And if Caden takes off like he's shown in the limited opportunities he's had, then that'd be great. And JL Skinner's a great rotational piece. You can use him purely as a box safety and still have Caden Sterns in the game. But if he's pushing Caden Sterns for that job, that could be really good news for what JL is. So I think that's kind of the projection for JL is, even though we're really, really high on him this year and as a draft pick, he still is a 6th-round pick. You don't have to expect it. It's not like he has to do something this year or it's a busted pick. He still has time to develop, and that makes sense coming from the Mountain West and still just needing a little bit of time to work on his all-around game. All right, let's get in some comments from the website. But first, I got to tell you about Game Time. If you're in Phoenix and you want to go to the Nuggets game tonight, you can make it $20 cheaper by using that promo code DNVR over at Game Time. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase after downloading the app and using that promo code DNVR. Nuggets in Phoenix tonight. Sunday, man, you want to take a little weekend trip down to Arizona and hit both of those games? That would be awesome. Check out our friends over at Game Time, where tickets, I bet, are cheaper in Phoenix than they are in Denver over at Game Time. And then Barely. Okay.
Yep. I mean, Sunday by quite a bit.
There we go. Maybe you catch a flight, and that honestly pays for itself right there, especially using promo code DNVR over at Game Time. And then when the Nuggets are back in town, whether that's in the Western Conference Finals, whether that's a Game 5 against Phoenix, use that promo code DNVR at Game Time to get in. And, of course, the reason it's called Game Time, I imagine, is because the closer you get to Game Time, the cheaper the tickets are. So waiting, you actually benefit for. And, of course, you can use this more than just Nuggets games, Rockies games as well, and then also concerts. So check them out. Download that app, Game Time, and use that code DNVR for $20 off.
And if you're not going down to Phoenix and you're going to be at the DNVR bar, make sure that you drink a lot of Breckenridge beers. Breckenridge is an awesome brewery. They have just like a crazy number of beers too, but they now get distributed almost every state in the country. We haven't heard like a number recently. It used to be to 30 states, but that was like 3 years ago.
Probably growing.
No,
I would imagine
it's the 48, the lower 48.
Oh, lower 48. There we go.
I
believe
your
it.
nose is shit.
The only two that are not there yet is Alaska and Hawaii.
Impressive.
Crazy.
Do you work for Breckenridge Brew?
No, but I do a lot of shows where they actually read the reads.
Wow, taking a shot at Henry.
Okay.
I do love Henry. People think I hate him, but that's the one guy in this company that I truly do enjoy.
Wow, a shot at me. Jeez. Wow. Why do you hate me? Here, let's just get open right now.
It has a lot to do with your worriness about the Nuggets.
I haven't had any worry about the Nuggets in like a couple weeks.
Nobody else is worried then. Yeah, I mean, so many good beers. You can get the Mile High City Golden Ale. That's a good Nuggets beer. The Shandy here is only $6, which is a steal. I'm not sure if we're doing the happy hour today. There's that Friday. I think so.
Yeah. We got the Friday afternoon club.
That's right. So that one would have that. That one would have that. So come down, drink some Breckenridge beers, and use the beer locator at breckbrew.com to find a Breckenridge beer near you.
All right. Shall we jump into some comments? Before we get to them on the website, we have some super chats as well. And remember, please hit us with a thumbs up. It really helps us, even if you're listening on delayed. And by the way, we've had some people in the comments saying, whoa, an early pod today. It is an early pod, but this is the new normal now. We're going live at 10 a.m. every day. Doesn't mean that you have to watch live, but if you want to catch us earlier, 10 a.m. every single day, Monday through Friday. And then, of course, if you like that noon time, well, just tune in at noon because it's always going to be on YouTube. And even if you're tuning in late, still hit us with a thumbs up. What was that you hear?
Real quick, too, if you're watching the show later or you're just listening on podcast, go to YouTube and just give the video a like. Takes no time. It's really good for the show and everybody else.
Yep, really helps us. So thank you all so much. All right, first super chat coming in from Isaiah Slow Talker says, celebrating Cinco de Mayo here in PHX at the best authentic Mexican restaurant here that you guys seemingly can't so-call find here.
That was all RK. That was all RK who was slandering the Mexican food in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I guess I speculated about why that could be, but I have no idea.
I mean, wouldn't you think it would be better?
You would. But then, like I said, Montana Mexican food is actually like it's not super Mexican, but it is really good.
Well, then it's not like you're not saying it's authentic Mexican food. You're just saying it's good food.
Yeah, I mean they try their best,
twist.
but it's not. Yeah.
Wouldn't you think that France would have better Italian food than Canada?
I don't know.
No, this is easy. Just say yes, Henry.
Okay, yes.
Here. Wouldn't you think France would have better Italian food than Canada?
I don't know, man, because New York has better Italian food than Italy.
I can't speak to any of that.
Wow. Okay. I was going to say, I mean, just by proximity, I'm sure there are some exceptions, but just generally, Colorado does have very good Mexican food. From what I've heard, so does Arizona.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. The thing is, though, like, America's like melting pot food. Like, the French have like a beef with the Italians. I don't know all the details. I just know Dre's thoughts on.
Okay, then let me say Croatia or something.
Yeah.
Just another
Again,
country
like,
that's close to Italy.
I think in Croatia they just eat like the same thing in Serbia, like the fish stew and all that.
Oh my gosh,
I don't
Henry's
think
not picking up what I'm putting down right now. Chat,
I
I feel like I'm going crazy.
I know
Can
what you're
someone in the
saying.
chat please back me up?
This is the thing that one time this person told me. He's like, the closer to the border, the better the food.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all he's trying to say.
that makes sense.
That's what he means. Like, so closer to the border to France, the better the Italian food.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Wait, so you're here. You obviously know your Mexican food. Have you been to Arizona?
No, I have not. Actually, I have, but I mean, at a certain point, Mexican food is just kind of Mexican food because I've been to Mexico and I've had Mexican food made by like authentic my grandma in front of me.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like at a certain point, it's just kind of like you can only get so Mexican.
Interesting.
You know, there's like there's like as long as you're not eating Taco Bell and you have quality ingredients, you should be okay for the most part.
I do like Taco Bell.
Wow.
Maybe that's one that I could just do alone and celebrate my Sado de Mayo.
Are there
Cinco de Sado.
Are there authentic Crunch Wraps?
I don't know.
No, there's not.
No
okay.
authentic Crunch
I'm
Wraps.
telling you right now, no.
Oh
Wow.
man, that's the best thing at Taco Bell.
I will say though, fast food in America, no matter what fast food it is, even Taco Bell is 100 times better than any fast food in Mexico.
Really?
By 1 billion times.
Wow.
I mean, I believe it. Like we seem like we'd be good at that, right?
That's our cuisine.
Yeah,
That's our true cuisine.
it's what we
fast
offer to
food.
the world.
Yep, there we go.
And honestly, like you go and get a Whopper or whatever down in Mexico, and you're eating really bad food. Like you don't want, like it's not even
Yeah.
worth the money. Like
Huh.
Yeah, I don't think I'd get a Whopper in Mexico. That just doesn't sound. It sounds like
I would
I'm
get Mexican
wasting
food.
my
Yeah.
food choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
also in Mexico, that's just food. You want something different
Exactly.
sometimes. So like,
Oh well, that's true. That's true. Thank you, Edward, saying I am correct about Italian food, even though some other people said
I think he was talking
wrong.
about me, and
No.
I said,
Yeah,
He's
was
talking
he
about
saying
me
that?
here.
I think he
Definitely
was
talking about me.
how New York has better Italian food than Italy.
No. I can't let this nonsense go on even more. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Greg S. says, had to break the super chat dry streak. Haven't been watching live lately, but here I am. Love videos lately, going through each pick. Can't wait for regular season pods. Thank you so much for rolling with us, Greg. Thank you for the super chat, and glad you were able to tune in live right now. Yeah, I'm hoping that we have a lot of fun on this podcast, Henry.
We do.
Never on this podcast has this team made the playoffs. Never on this podcast has this team has had a winning record once on this podcast. They went 9-7 the year after the Broncos went to the Super Bowl. We have never seen a playoffs on this podcast. I can't imagine how much fun it's going to be.
It would be so fun. I want it so badly. I
Me
put
too.
together. Oh no, the Lakers lost. This parlay died. Just had like a $10 free bet. So I put in like a bunch of things and ended it with the Broncos over 8.5 wins. So the $10 free bet would turn into like $500 on that.
Yeah, man, that'd be fun.
Lakers lost though, so
Ah, damn.
Yep.
Well, who do you want to play, Lakers or Warriors?
I don't really care. I mean, the Nuggets are better than both. Like they
But
both,
you
they're both
can't
just
say
different.
I don't care because they're both
so
scary.
different though.
I think I'm more scared of the Warriors.
Yeah,
either
but
way,
again, like Jokic is just gonna put up 40 against them. You know, like they have no
Potentially.
answer.
Well, Clay, the thing that scares me about Clay, and I'm not disagreeing with you that the Nuggets are better and should win against either team, but Clay or Steph could go off for 40 either game.
True.
And the other could have 30.
And if they do that 4 times, like
They could, though.
you could, yeah. But I mean, the Lakers, like they have AD and LeBron. Like LeBron last night looked insane.
Yeah,
like he just
in
wouldn't
the first
miss.
half.
In the first
2
half.
points.
The
in the
thing
second
is,
half.
no
True.
matter what, you're gonna have to exercise some demons, and that's what I want for the Nuggets. They have to go through the hardest path if you want it.
No, yeah,
Wow.
shut up.
I wanted
You
the
can
Suns.
go through the easiest path, and it's still a
Yeah.
legitimate
I
championship.
wanted this. I wanted the Suns.
I don't understand that.
Want look what's going on. This team is the team of destiny. They're not losing.
Oh yeah, no,
man.
they're by far the best team in the West.
They're the best team in the whole league.
But it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that the easier path isn't the smartest
Oh,
path.
I would take the easier path.
No,
I just don't
yeah,
think
just-
either of those are any easier.
you know, like this is the thing. Denver needs that grind mentality, and that's what I want. Give me the grind it out. That you're the best. There's no excuses at the end of the day. You beat the best of the best.
Man, and that's something that I do like about the Suns is they're just not a proven team in any way. Sure, Kevin Durant has won a championship, but that was
yeah.
with Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Klay
Yeah.
Thompson. I hate those guys, but they're unfortunately good basketball players. LeBron has done it on his own. Obviously, this Warriors team has done it, so I think they're going to be a bigger challenge than the
Definitely.
Suns, especially the Suns just seem to be crumbling. We had a Suns commenter in here.
Oh
Man, I'm just gonna give you luck because you're gonna need it.
I know.
It's
It's
a
crazy.
tough time to be a Suns fan right now. The Suns are like plus 350 to win the series, which is nuts because
Yeah.
they started at like minus 150.
it is. Like I remember all the PHNX guys. Like I was like, oh, I can't wait for these guys just to have to cry.
Yeah.
Like they're so annoying. Like it's gonna, now I just feel bad for them.
Yeah.
It's like,
'cause
oh,
it's
this is
just
sad.
It's a beat
That
down.
team is just so soft though. They just aren't tough enough.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
they
kinda
just-
Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
Yep.
And Devin Booker.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
they're just flopping around and doing all that stuff. It's like that's not okay. Have fun, guys.
So
Gonna
go
play some
Nuggets
basketball.
tonight. All right, let's hop into some comments on the website. Arvada Luke says, hey there, friends. Drafting injured players feels risky because we don't have a good track record with fixing injuries. But what about drops? I feel like the Broncos have actually had a decent history of rehabbing droppers. Do you agree? Cheers, Arvada Luke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's notable. Like Jerry dropped the ball and then hasn't recently, and Demarius also. So you have those.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what he meant though.
Oh,
Yeah, my guess is more recent. So Jerry and KJ.
yeah. I mean,
and
KJ didn't have a drop last year.
He played in 7 games though, had 7
Oh,
catches.
definitely.
So I just don't think the sample size is big
No.
enough. I think you could probably make an argument either way. Jerry Jeudy and KJ Handler led the league in drops. They were 1 and 2 their rookie year, and then
Damn.
since then they've gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
But also now you have a new wide receivers coach. So you have a new wide receiver coach, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, head coach. You have a new everything. So I don't think I don't think you can draw the correlations between anything that's happened with wide receivers in the past and now.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. And I wish somebody would figure out what the average drop percentage is.
Really, that's not out there.
No, not at least not quickly.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I can continue to let you look for that when I read
Okay.
another comment. The count says, sometimes I fall asleep with a big smile on my face in anticipation of Big Hank's forthcoming and ad reads. They
Oh, good.
bleeping slap, as does the new Pleasure Horse tune. Love the count. Good ad reads, Hank.
Well, thanks.
You get a raise.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
If I had the power, I would give Yahir and Hank a raise. How about that?
Even you here.
Isn't that nice of me,
I'm
guys?
sorry, Hank. I deserve it.
Hope that locks him in a little more.
Next
I'm
one.
locked in 24/7.
I didn't even think he heard what I said.
No,
I did-
I just
doubt
gave
it.
him a raise.
I
Probably
did,
not.
but
With
Hank's over here
power I
fighting
don't
me.
have, and he doesn't even hear
I'm
it.
fighting for that race now.
Next one from Nash Broncos says, fellas, I don't think I would want to be a client of Zackus and Hanker. I feel like Zackus
Wow.
would try to trade me to another law firm for a 6th-round pick. Maybe there's good value there. And Hanker would just tell me that the advanced stats say I'm not that good of a client. But then he would probably tell me I'm the best client they've ever had. Roller coaster, Hank. Temperature check on the ownership. How are we currently feeling about the Walmart Group and their ownership of the team? Great.
Yeah, great.
They had no issue firing a coach when things were just awful.
They were
had
awful.
no reason, or they had no issue paying Sean Payton to be the highest paid head coach in this hiring cycle, one of the highest paid, if not the highest head coach in the entire NFL. They had no issue dropping $250 million in free agency, the most by any team. And they're involved, but I don't think as of now in too much of a way.
Yeah.
Now there were some concerns when from me at least, when the Broncos fired Nathaniel Hackett and Greg Penner said, I'm going to be the one that makes the decision. I was a little worried about that, but it does seem like he's taken a step back and he's not making picks in the Broncos draft room. I do like that they're in the draft room. They're there.
Yeah.
Greg Penner is there every single day. I know there's been some speculation around that, but no, we're there. We know that he's there, so he's very involved, and so is Kerry. So I think it's fantastic so far.
Yeah, and I think football-wise, like, to me, it seems like the philosophy is just like, you just have to be able to explain to me why you're doing whatever you're doing, and you are Sean Payton, and I am just me, a guy who likes football. So, like, if you, Sean Payton, can't convince me why we need to spend $250 million, we're not spending $250 million.
True.
But, again, you are Sean Payton. You should be able to convince me how to do that, you know? And on top of that, I mean, all the stuff, the investment, wanting to build a whole new team facility thing.
It's true. It's a good point.
They've already putting the work in to figure out the stadium, to figure out the uniforms. Like, it'd be tough for an owner to come in and be terrible. It's possible for sure, but it does seem like they're just kind of going through all the things we thought they should go through, and give them an A. They haven't screwed up.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the investments. Obviously, the $400,000 field that they put in for the last game, even though it was a meaningless game, they just wanted it to look good.
Did you see today was the day they have the motocross thing coming, so they brought in like 1 million pounds of dirt or something, and
wow.
Yep, so that's the end of that field.
Wow.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to that field. We gave them credit for, or at least I think we all gave them some credit, and they got a lot of credit for the $100 million that they're investing into the stadium to upgrade it this offseason. Just to be fair, taking a little bit of credit off of that, they raised ticket prices, and I believe how much they raised ticket prices covers that $100 million. So
really?
I should say thank you to the fans for paying for those $100 million. But that's still... they have not cut any corner yet.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing to see.
And also with those upgrades, it's like a $100 million upgrade over 10 years, which is a whole lot of money. At the same time, though, like when you're paying $4 billion to make a stadium at this point, like
it's nothing.
$10 million a year in maintaining a stadium is actually a pretty standard amount of money. But yeah, they did it, and that's what you want them to do.
Yep, exactly. The count says Zacchus and Hanker. I love it. C. Fillmore with our last one says, a fond farewell to Pleasure Horse's Cottonwood Mile. Easily my most listened to song of 2022 and 2023. Let's turn and before we go really quick, or before we move on with that comment, we got to play Cottonwood Mile at the end of the podcast now, unless people really want to hear the new Oklahoma song. Oklahoma's great, but man, Cottonwood Mile, especially just how it starts at the end of our pod, just has a place in my heart. So C. Fillmore, it's not going anywhere, but I totally agree. It's a great song. Okay, he continues and says, let's turn the speculation into reality by having Zac provide backing vocals on the next Pleasure Horse outro song. Give the people what they want. Am I right that Zac did feature on the splendid overdub on the old BSN opening song when DNVR was born? A long weekend ahead for us in the UK. We have Monday off to extend the King's coronation celebrations.
Right.
Marvelous. Have a great weekend yourselves, chaps. Thanks for the pods this week. Christopher, love you, Christopher. There's a new king in town in the UK, which means they changed their national anthem to, instead of saying God bless the Queen, now says God bless the King, which is wild.
Is it God save the King?
Sure. Yeah, probably is. Yeah.
There might be two songs.
No, you're probably right.
Yeah, I don't know. This is probably the least American thought I've ever had, so I should probably keep it to myself.
Oh, you want a king here?
But like a couple days ago, I was thinking, I was like, no, I don't. I decided like, no, I don't want a king. But for a second, I was like, oh, I wish I had a king. Like that's kind of sick.
Wow.
But then no, I don't actually.
That's when you get a pet, and then they're just your king. Yeah, I got 2 little kings at home.
I don't want the king to be an animal, and I don't think I'm being too picky in saying that.
Oh man. Well, Henry, I think a lot of countries in the world or in the United Kingdom would trade you because they're all trying to like get rid of the king right now.
Yeah, which is like, I don't know, like,
man, you are history Hank. You were just old,
real.
man. You just love being
true.
back in the. You should have been around in what, the 1800s, 1700s.
I don't think I would have done like you gotta like make your own clothes. And stuff like so. I couldn't do any of that. I like to know about the people who did do that though.
Okay, and you just wish that you had a king.
Yeah, I mean, there's part of me where it's just like, what if there was some like, here's a bunch of people who just like behave themselves and act properly.
Do they behave themselves?
Yeah.
Well, no. They've lost that. They've lost that part. They've lost that part. But like,
I don't think they've ever had it, to be honest.
it could be kind of nice just to have like the queen. Like, what a nice like stabilizing presence. Just like a nice woman who like did a whole bunch of things, and I don't know. It could be like just a nice role model to have.
So
I don't think you want them as a role model.
I was gonna say,
never,
in your
Well, there's
ideal
some.
fairyland world, I think I see what you're saying about having a perfect family that does everything right, that wears the jewels, that's a figurehead for a country.
Yeah.
I just think that a lot of these families are far from that.
That is true, and more so recently.
Yeah.
I haven't dug too deep.
Dude, the
Yeah,
last
probably
time there
forever.
Was, the last time there was probably a good king in any. It might have been also like Julius Caesar, like the Roman Empire.
Whoa.
Somebody
Wasn't
that
Julius
actually-
Caesar like
the Roman
wasn't
Empire?
he bad?
I think
Like,
you're probably
but, like,
nitpicking.
but like if you're looking at like the most advanced one that was not out there trying to just do bad things constantly, he might have been the last one.
I like the queen. The
Henry,
queen was great.
Henry, why don't you get your own queen? I think your own queen is at home sick right now, and you need to be her king this weekend. You know, take it on yourself to become your own king.
What am
That
I
was
gonna
a
do for my
very
Cinco de
romantic
Mayo?
sentence.
Thank you,
Zach.
thank you. And may you all have a very romantic weekend celebrating Cinco de Drinko with your loved ones. Cinco de Mayo, as others may be celebrating. What did you say? Cinco de Keiko?
Cinco, no, I never said that, but we can call it
I
that.
thought
Like,
you
that's
said
good.
that. And thank you all so much for rolling with us on the DNVR Broncos podcast. We will talk to you on Monday. We don't get to celebrate the King's coronation through Monday,
No.
so we'll be back on Monday continuing to break down the Denver Broncos draft class. Have a great weekend.